What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you guys follow me. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and also subscribe and like to this. I post a lot of cool stuff, like Rocky quotes. It doesn't matter how this looks to other people. If this is something you gotta do, then you gotta do it. Fighters fight. Drago! Sorry. Now, yesterday I posted this picture. The WBA had a convention, and a lot of the champions were there. I believe Canelo, Terrence Crawford, and these two guys. Roy Jones Jr. versus Gennady Golovkin. Almost 1,000 likes. And I asked and posed the question, Ego Dream Match. And I'm going to start getting back to this, but I had Ego Dream Matches where I used to do this segment and talk about Mike Tyson versus David Tua. Yeah, who would win? And obviously, Golovkin's not fighting Jacobs this year. So I'm left to resort to fantasy matches, right? Because I haven't seen Golovkin in there with the level of elite opposition that I think would warrant the praise he's getting or prove it wrong. You know what I mean? So I posed the question, Prime versus Prime, who would win and how? And 156 comments later, a lot of people put a lot of great comments. I was surprised though, because when it comes to Golovkin, it's a touchy subject because he's the current. Roy Jones has been knocked out recently, so I thought it was going to be a bunch of foolishness, but people were like, Roy, easy work, too easy. Roy was too fast, too slippery. And some people even asked me my questions. So you guys drop your fight predictions for this fight. If it were to happen, just consider it after the best win of that fighter's career in that division. So obviously at middleweight, Roy's best win and Golovkin's best win, which I don't even know what Golovkin's best win is, to be honest. Some people say it's Mark Murray. Some people say David Lemieux. Is it Kell Brook, a welterweight? I don't really know. But just try to put yourself in the mindset of Prime versus Prime. These fighters, if they were to have fought at their best at middleweight, who would win? And again, some people ask for my questions. This is a no-brainer for me, and this is not being biased because some of you, you just said you're biased because you said Roy Jones was your favorite. He is. He's definitely one of my favorite. Him, Mike Tyson, Prince Nassim, Muhammad Ali. Those are my go-to guys, right? And there's other people I like too, but those are the ones, like growing up, those are the ones that probably really got me into boxing, like where I really was like hooked and stuff. I mean, there's also fights like Arturo Gatti versus Mickey Ward, like individual fights and stuff where I was just like, wow, this sport is the truth. But Roy Jr. was the dude. He was the man. Pensacola. So it's not being biased, but I think Roy would have destroyed Golovkin. And the reason I think that is because Golovkin, he's a good fighter. He puts a lot of pressure on you, but you can't hit what you can't see. Roy was just blindingly fast. He was a freak. I'm trying to tell you guys. You guys can look at current Roy and be like, oh, he's getting knocked out by this guy and that guy. But if it was his prime, Golovkin would have his hands full. And I think Golovkin would get stopped by prime Roy Jones Jr. That's just me personally. Just, he hits you from weird angles. I've seen him fight Vinny Pazienza. That I forgot the guy's name off the top of my head. The guy that was taller than him with the little dreads. And he just did stuff in those fights where I'm just like, man, this dude he's just too nasty. He's also an Olympian like Golovkin, right? He was robbed of a gold medal. Golovkin got a silver medal. It's just the speed and athleticism and the freak show that Roy was is just way too much. People are going to revert back to him getting knocked out and stuff like that. And, Antonio Tarver, but Tarver, like, you got to keep in mind, there's a lot of factors play into it. One, Roy may have underestimated Tarver. When you're on top that long and no one's touching you from the late 80s all the way to the early 2000s, I'm sure you're probably feeling yourself, right? That's a long reign. And he only had one loss, which was some BS, and that was a disqualification of Montel Griffin. And you've seen in the rematch that what happened, you know what I mean? He destroyed him again. And how he destroyed him, I advise you guys to go to YouTube, because I know some of you guys don't know shit about boxing. Go to YouTube and watch that rematch with Roy Jones Jr. And that leaping, like, hook uppercut thing he threw from that far out, that's not normal, bruh. That's not what you're normally supposed to be doing and being able to pull off against top level guys in your division at that time. And he hit him from so far out, it was like looked like a bowling, like when you go bowling, like a bowling swing. And he could do stuff like that and get away with it. So looking at the Kell Brook fight and stuff like that and seeing what I believe Golovkin is vulnerable with, like athleticism, someone's going to bring the fight to you and back you down, I think Golovkin would be so frustrated dealing with the prime Roy Jones Jr. It wouldn't be funny, and he would get broken down. You know what I mean? Roy Jones, they don't call him Captain Hook for nothing. Again, this is not taking anything away from Golovkin, because you have to look at it. I'm comparing him to a Hall of Famer when he retires, right? So I'm not saying anyone could beat him now at the middleweight division. He looks to be the man, but that's what happens with greats like Floyd Mayweather. Who would win, Sugar Ray or Floyd? You know what I mean? People, if you're good and making noise, people are going to always compare you to greats. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, but I don't see Golovkin winning that fight. Kell Brook was landing the uppercut at will. You know what I mean? And that was a guy coming up in weight. So deal with the guy with the speed, the intelligence, and the movement and the confidence. That confidence goes a long way, because Golovkin is very confident in his ability, right? Roy Jones was confident. Like, just watch after he knocked out Montel Griffin. That was like, he just listened to how he said this stuff. He was so smooth with it. Like, Larry Merchant was like, he's like, I didn't want to do that, but y'all made me. And then he was like, why didn't you want to have to do that? Merchant was like, why didn't you want to have to do that? He's like, I don't want to have to do that. I don't want to have to bring the old RJ out, because I would have had to kill that boy by mistake. He said I had to kill that boy by mistake. Roy was a beast. So let me know what you guys think. Roy Jones Jr. in his prime versus Golovkin in his prime. I don't think it's a contest. And a lot of the people in the comment section were shockingly, they said in his prime, Roy Jr. hands down. Who beats Roy at 160? Nobody. He was super big for the weight, on top of all the other God-given talents. So it would be a good fight. It would definitely be like a mega fight if Golovkin, who he is right now, fought Roy Jones Jr. If you could kind of implant him into that timepiece, it would be a big fight. But Golovkin's way too slow to me, and Roy just would hit you from too many angles. And you got to look at some of the stuff. Like, one of my favorite active fighters right now, well, Roy's active too, but one of my favorite like kind of newcomers is Vasyl Lomachenko. He cites Roy Jones Jr. as his favorite fighter, just like me. And I see things that he does in there athletically, and it's like, oh wow, it's no surprise. I understand it. It makes sense now, because Lomachenko does some of the same thing. I think versus Rocky Martinez, he did a triple hook. You have to have confidence to throw a triple hook, because you have to worry about return fire. But then you have to have a certain level of hand speed to do it. Roy Jones would do stuff like that you're not supposed to be doing. I'm telling you, if you guys had a boxing class, like you had your own boxing class where you wanted to instruct and teach people boxing, you would not teach them to do the things that Roy Jones Jr. would do. That's just not what, oh, put your hands by your waist while someone with power is coming at you. You wouldn't tell them to do that stuff. So I don't think Golovkin will be prepared to defeat that. But it's a great event. The WBC posted this. You see Hands of Stone, Roy Jones Jr., Head No Guys, Julio Cesar Chavez, Mauricio Suleiman. So just having a little fun with the fantasy matchup. Ego Dream Fights. Let me know who would win, Roy Jones Jr. and Steel, or Head No Guys Max. I'll fight Max. I'll fight Roy. I think that would be a good ass fight. But I think I'm easily siding with Roy on that one in his prime. Just too many tools, and that's honestly, that's what I want to see. Golovkin go in there with somebody who is confident, because I don't think a lot of guys go in there with confidence. Like Macklin, he didn't look confident. He got hit and like, oh shit, like this guy, he's hitting hard. Like he didn't look. He kind of like tucked his tail to me when he started getting hit, and that's what happens when you're a powerful guy. You have to be able to you have to know how to deal with somebody who has power. You know what I mean? And if you know you don't have a slick defense or good defense, and you can't evade those shots, or you can't see, Golovkin's not that fast, but he finds a way to get it done. Let me know who you think. Could Golovkin beat Roy Jones Jr.? I just don't see it. Drop your fight predictions below. Make sure you share the video, like the video. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.